What's going on, beautiful people? What's going on? We're back, and tonight's conversation, as you can see, is about what's currently happening in the world right now. I told you all that I'd be going live and sharing more insights and wisdom, and tonight's conversation is about someone right now thinking about their reason for them calling out tomorrow. Always happen. Listen, if you all do not know, there is someone that is dreading, there's someone that is contemplating, what exactly do I have to say? Or what's a logical reason for me to call off work tomorrow? Because I can't do it. Right? They're thinking about it, they're contemplating Monday morning, they're thinking about their alarm, they're thinking about getting ready. They're thinking about all of these things. And as they think about all of these things, in their mind, they're saying, I can't do it. Someone is thinking about calling off. And the question I have is like, do we really understand why people like don't want to go to work? Do we understand why so many people actually like hate the job that they go to? Which I think this is interesting because when you think about work, work is something that you signed up for. That means that you applied for a role, you interviewed for it, you accepted that role, and now there's something that happened between that initial I said yes to the role to like this is tough, this is challenging, so challenging that I really don't want to do this. And the reason why it's important for us to have this conversation is, do you know the reason why you don't like going to work? If you are an organization, if you're a leader, do you know the reason why so many people want to call off? Do you know why your retention numbers are what they are? Do you know why it's a challenge to recruit and keep great people? Do you know why people don't want to be there? Because if you don't know why they don't want to be there, then there's absolutely nothing that you can do to make the environment great. You can hire trainers, consultants, individuals to identify problems, but a lot of times these programs aren't really aligned to the specific problem that's going on, right? And so that's what I want to share with you all tonight. What is the actual problem? But when we think about the problem, I want to share something with you because we want to see what's actually going on. Like what exactly is it? There's this report that Gallup did. It said that employee engagement is at an all-time low. The last 10 years has been the lowest that it's ever been. And the numbers that it talks about, it says that only 31%, think about this, only 31% of employees in the US are engaged. That means that there is 69% of the workforce in the United States that they're going to work and they're dreading it. I mean, 69% of the people probably right now are thinking about calling off tomorrow, are thinking about the challenges that they're going to experience tomorrow when they go to work. They're not excited. They're not happy. They are dreading. They're not going to sleep tonight in peace. And the question that I have is that if you are one of those people, do you know the reason why you dread it so much? Well, the reality is that there's more than likely a person, or either a group of people that makes your job difficult. Like when you think about the transition from I applied for a role, I want to do this, to man, it's a challenge for me to show up. Most often, people say it's not the job, the actual role that I'm required to do. It's the people that I have to interact with, the people that are part of my day to day. Whether it's the people that I work with, whether it's a leader, there's somebody that makes that life challenging and difficult. And the question I have for you is, do you know exactly what is making that interaction so difficult? Because if you don't know what, the reality is that you think that that person is a problem. As a matter of fact, I was on LinkedIn earlier, and I created a post that said there's no such thing as difficult people, and there was this lady that said she disagreed with me. She said, hey, I do this work, and I understand what you're sharing, but she said I disagree. And so I went on to show her exactly like where this stance comes from, what this this belief in this model comes from, that there is no such thing as difficult people. I don't care if you feel like your husband is difficult. I don't care if you feel like your child is difficult. I don't feel like somebody in your community, somebody in your life is difficult. I'm here to share with you that person is not difficult. It's your beliefs and your thoughts about that person that makes that relationship difficult. There is someone in that difficult person to you in their life that loves them. There's some person in that difficult person's life that is not frustrated, that is not challenged by them. So that means that that person doesn't have a challenging behavior. That person has a behavior that is challenging to you. All right, I'm gonna say that again. People don't have challenging behaviors. I don't care what you think about it. They don't have challenging behaviors. People have behaviors that challenge you specifically. The question is, do you know exactly what it is about that behavior that causes the friction, that causes those challenges? And if you do not know exactly what it is, then the reality is that you're just going to label that person as difficult. And so I want to share with you all exactly how do we, how did I define this, that there's no such thing as difficult people, and how can you understand this for yourself? And the framework that I want to share with you all is all about, it's the EBIB framework, which focuses on your environment, your belief, and your identity and your behavior. And it starts with this. You had an environment that you grew up in. You have your parents, whatever your upbringing was, and you had things that you were exposed to within your life. And these past experiences that you had, they set the standard for how you believe and what you think should go on in life, right? So that's now the standard you go by. And so those experiences begin to shape your beliefs about what's true in the world and how things should work. And so you begin to develop these convictions about, this is what I believe should happen. This is how I believe that things should operate in the world. And that way that you believe, that's your standard of truth. You believe that is the right way that it should operate. And so if anybody else does anything that is different than that belief system, you think that their way is wrong. Because if your way of doing it is right, and someone else does something differently than your established belief of what's right, that means that they're doing the wrong way. And that right there is a source of conflict. Now that right there is a source of friction, because who in the world would want somebody around them that just does everything wrong? I want you to think about somebody difficult, whoever it is, that difficult person that is in your life. There's a behavior, there's a pattern, there is something that they do that gets on your last nerve. What exactly is it? And what is your belief about the way that thing should be done that is different than the way that they're doing it? Now, the question I want to ask you is that, what is that person's belief system? Because that person probably believes that the way that they're doing it is the right way. Now, that's the reason why they continue to show up in the way that they do, and that's the reason why you are frustrated. Because when I believe something, that belief shapes my identity. It shapes how I see myself, and it also shapes the way I see other people. And so now I'm holding people to the expectation that I have for myself. You oftentimes hear about people, like, even when you think about the golden rules, is treat people the way you want to be treated. And so I think about what I want for myself, and I treat people how I feel like I want to be treated. Number one, I think the golden rule is the worst rule that was ever established. Because think about this. Do you think everybody in the world wants to be treated the same way that you want to be treated? You don't think that there's anybody out there that wants something that you're okay with that wants something different than that? Have you ever met somebody that they do something, they're okay with something in their life, and when you think about that being a part of your life, you're like, no, I absolutely do not want that. Now, what if that person then said, hey, I'm going to treat you based on how I feel about myself, based on what I value, based on what's important to me, but you don't want that? Ding, ding, ding. We're now identifying some of the causes of some of the things that we've learned, and we have to unlearn these things in order for us to really change how we feel about the people that we're around and how we kind of perceive the things that we see as challenges. Now, the rule I will replace it with is the platinum rule, which is treat people the way they want to be treated. And in this rule, that means that I now have to be open-minded to what you want and not just come with my own assumptions about what is okay, what is not okay, what should be done, and what shouldn't be done. And since we operate based on this flawed thinking, we have a lot of friction because you show up in the way in which you show up and don't necessarily expect for them to change. No, you to change. You expect for them to change, right? You expect for them to do things different so that it can actually operate based on what your standard of truth is. And so you do the things that you do because you feel like that's the right way of doing it. And the patterns that you have are based off of that. And the patterns that other people have, they're doing those things because they feel like those things are the right way as well. And so the question is conflict. These differences, when it comes to problems, I said you don't have people problems, right? There's no such thing as challenging behaviors. So if there's no such thing as challenging behaviors, what exactly is the friction that's being caused right now? Is how you feel about what that person is doing. That's exactly what it is. It's how you feel about what that person is doing. And so that means that the difficulty is with you. The difficulty is not with them. The question you have to ask yourself is this: when I'm challenged by something that's going on, what exactly is at the source of my problem? What is it about what they're doing that challenges me? What is it that I would want to be different about that? And start addressing your beliefs. Start addressing your biases. Start addressing your preconceived notions about what's right and what's wrong before we focus on them. Because how great are we at fixing people? How great are we at changing people and making them see our perspectives out? It doesn't really happen a lot. So if you want to be less frustrated with the people that are around you, it starts with self-awareness. It starts with self-awareness because we have to understand what is at the source of my standards. Am I all the way 100% aware of what I want, what I do not want? I was working with a team not long ago, and one of the things I was sharing with them was centered about this. Is we were going over the assessments, and when we're going through these assessments, I was sharing with them that hey, you have a way in which you show up, and you have a way in which you desire things to be done. And everybody else around here, they have that same thing too. And when I was sharing with them about this, it was this big aha, because leaders, adults are in the room, they are learning about themselves in ways that they had not known. They have a little bit of awareness of how I go about doing things, but it wasn't necessarily a name or that specific of detail that went into understanding, oh man, this makes so much sense now. And we went around the room and they're talking about this, and like it was crazy about how people start saying, "Yeah, that's you." As a matter of fact, there was this one lady in there, and she was like, "You know what, Daniel? I don't necessarily agree with this whole, this is just how you are." She was like, I go to acting classes, and I've been part of the performing arts for so long. And she was like, I'm not really that loud of a person. She was like, there are many times where I adapt to my environment. Now, meanwhile, she's yelling while she's saying all this, so very, very loud. And after she got done, explaining, how she is so easily able to adapt to her environment and what the needs are of other people, I said, thank you so much for sharing that. And I said, hey, everybody in the room, how adaptable do y'all think she is? Like, does she show up like very loud all the time, or is she sometimes quiet? They're like, no, you're absolutely not adaptable at all. You're loud most of the time. This quiet person that you think you are, that's not you. So this person has a belief about themselves that is not reality. When everybody in the room sees her coming in, she sees something completely different. And so if she was to be asked if she's someone that causes friction or sees someone that causes a problem, she's not going to identify herself. What is she going to do? She's going to start looking at the people around her because there's a blind spot that she currently has. And what I'm sharing with you all is that how can we remove these blind spots that we have within our lives that end up causing these challenges within our everyday life? How can we operate with more of a sense of awareness of not only ourselves, but the other people that we're around? And that's, in essence, what I'm inviting you all on, a journey of like more awareness, more assurance, like clarity, walking with a sense of confidence about yourself, but also an adaptability in a way to maneuver when you're around other people, because although we need to understand ourselves, the world does not revolve around us. We do have to interact with people, but how well do we go about that interaction process? And so when I'm sharing with you all, there's these journeys that you're on, and I don't know exactly where you're at in life. Maybe you're someone that is really trying to grow as a leader. You're someone that's really trying to understand where you're at in life, and maybe some of the challenges you're experiencing. I was speaking to a lady recently, and she was telling me about an issue that she was having at work, and how could she navigate that thing better? Like, what exactly is it that's causing the friction between her and this individual? And one of the things that was most important for me to share with her is that she has to understand what are the expectations that she's bringing to the room. What are those beliefs that she has? Because that's the complete opposite of this person. And because she didn't have a clear understanding of what her expectations were coming into the room, like, she's only seeing the other person as the major problem in this. And we have to see this thing from two different perspectives. And so kind of with that being said, I want to share with you all a few things as it relates to what exactly it is that we do. We walk people on a journey of being able to understand themselves better. And when we say understand themselves better, it's like, do you have complete awareness of how you like to do things? Like, so I want to rewind back here for a moment, because I want to share something real quick. Like, there are three areas of friction. And so the areas of friction are based on all three types of conflict. And those things are based on preference, which is how you desire things to be done. And so when you have a preference conflict, that means either the way they said it or the way that they did it, it wasn't the way that you desired it done. And so therefore, there's some conflict, and I wish you would have done it this way versus the way in which you did it. So now there is an assessment that is associated with understanding preference conflict. Passion conflict is all about what matters to you. Either does it matter to them, or what matters to them doesn't matter to you. So there's something that it matters to you a lot, something that you're completely passionate about, and somebody in your life does not care about that as much as you care about that. And because they're not moved, because they're not engaged or in a conversation when you're talking about this, like, that upsets you. That's completely different conflict that has an assessment that is associated with that. And the third one is all about process conflict, which is the way in which you make decisions. There's certain things that you prioritize differently before you move forward. And so there are three areas that we really focus on there. And maybe there's been a time where you were, in a meeting or you're having a conversation, and there's somebody that they're caught up on something, continue to move you back. Like, why didn't you talk about this? And you really want to move on to something else. So you don't think that necessary thing that they're focused on is that important, and you don't understand why they're so dead set on that. It's because there's something that person is processing that they feel that you haven't addressed yet. And so now we have a process conflict. And with that, there's an assessment that is associated with that. So when we talk about, individual awareness, we're talking about, do you understand these three areas in your life, from how you desire things to be done? Do you understand all the areas of what you're engaged by? And do you have a life where you're engaged in the things that are engaging to you? Another source of conflict, whether it be with work or with people, that they're not really doing the things that they want to be doing. Their life is not designed around, man, when I wake up and I think about what I'm most passionate and what I'm most excited about, it's not that. And so now they become to be approach their days in a way where it's it's a lack of fulfillment. And so even for me myself, there have been times where it's am I doing the things that I really want to be doing, or am I doing the things that I feel like my wife, needs me to do, or am I doing the things that I feel like life requires me to do? Do I understand what brings me the most fulfillment? And if I'm being completely honest with you all, there was a time where I didn't have an answer for that. I can tell you all with 100% assurance of the things that I need to be engaged in my life in order for me to have the most fulfillment. And so this assessment does that. It shares with you that information and that insight, but also how do you understand what you're missing out on in life that could actually make those things more prevalent. And what I just shared with you all right there, that's all about your individual journey. It doesn't require, another person. It doesn't require anything else. It just requires you being on this journey of being able to know yourself more fully and being able to operate in life with a sense of ultimate fulfillment. Knowing exactly what you need in order for you to thrive. And even in moments and times to where other people may not be providing that for you, it is your responsibility, especially now that you have the information, for you to make sure that you provide that for yourself. Now, you can make yourself the priority and provide yourself those things that you need, even in moments and times where other people won't. And so that is all about what your individual journey and what we're going on. And so maybe you're someone that is actually, you're in a relationship, you engaged, you're married, or maybe you're someone that you're co-founders within, an organization. You have a leadership team, and there's someone specifically that y'all butt heads all the time. More than likely, there's someone that immediately comes to mind when you think about that, and you are trying to figure out, okay, when it comes to me and this person, or maybe it's more than one person, I need to understand this dynamic better, because right now it's not working out. As a matter of fact, you maybe, or that other person may be on the brink of giving up on that relationship, giving up on that, that business that you all started together, giving up on believing that you all can lead together, depending on what that dynamic is. And you're not someone that you want to give up on that. And so you want to do everything you can to make sure that this thing can last. This right here is for you, because this right here now allows for you all to not only understand the individual things that you all bring to the table, it now maps the conflict that you all have. And so the three things that we offer in here, and I want to share this with you all real quick, is being able to diagnose, utilize the Advanced Insights Assessment so you can actually understand those three things that I share with you all. And it gives you a clear picture of each person's communication, behavioral style, so you all can see how you all show up. Then we go through the process of doing a session where we go over three things. Conflict report, where we able to say, hey, this is the source of your friction. In the preference area, y'all have these frictions. In the passion area, y'all have this friction, and y'all can understand those things and understand what that is. And last but not least, we go through this thing called the friction map, which is not only just identifying like where your friction is, how severe is it? So now, if you were to go to a doctor and you got a diagnosis and they said, hey, like this right here, it's stage one, so the intervention process isn't as severe, but then you go to the doctor and someone says it's at stage 4, and the aggressiveness that we have to take to treat that is much different. Do you know exactly what stage your conflict and your friction is? And if you don't know, these are the resources and tools that we have available to make sure that you can actually not only name these things, but understand exactly what are the most important things for us to address right now. Because not everything is a right now issue. Not everything is a right now challenge. There are certain things that you may be blowing a little bit out of proportion, but there are certain things that for sure you need to handle these right now. And those are the things that we are not only walking organizations and teams through, but we are walking individuals and partnerships through as well. And so I wanted to take some time to share that with you all, because if someone is, like I shared, if someone is frustrated about going to work tomorrow, dreading calling out, do they know the source of the friction they have with that person that has them feeling this way? And can they get to a place to where they're no longer blaming that person, but they're able to approach it from a place of understanding? And that now changes the whole dynamic, because I know that my battle isn't against you. My battle is against this thing that we can now work on together. And when we have that, like clarity, and you're not my problem, but this is the thing that we're fighting, we stop fighting people and we start fighting the actual problem. And that is the journey that I've been on in my personal life, in my marriage, and in the work that I do, getting people to realize that you have to stop fighting people and you have to start fighting the real problem. So if you continue to believe that people are your problem, then there's nothing you can do to solve it. The only thing you can do is either remove the person, you can avoid the person, or you can just completely leave that relationship, leave that organization. That's the only option that you have if people are your problem. But if you realize that, hey, people aren't my problem, the behaviors that they have are the challenge, then that means that we have to understand behaviors better in order to solve that problem. In order for us to solve behavioral challenges, we can't do that without a better understanding of the people and the behaviors that they have. And those are the things that we work and navigate through to help people understand. And that's why in the programs, when we're going to working with teams, it's like the ease, or there's a calmness that comes to the room, because like man, for so long I've been looking at this person that way, and for the first time, like I no longer see that person as the issue. I now have a name for it, and now have a solution that we can bridge. And that's why our program is called Bridging the Connection Gap, because there's a friction that is causing distance, and we build bridges across every single one of those 3 areas that we share with you all. And so I want to say thank you all for showing up and for taking this time, to just like listen to what I have to share. But I want to encourage you all to actually take action, right? To actually do the work that it takes to know. And the only way to like take a step towards knowing is you actually have to take the assessment. You actually got to figure these things out so that you can no longer operate from a place, this is a challenging word, but operate from a place of ignorance. Like to continue to think that people are problems, knowing that there's a possibility for you to have access to something that changes that perspective, that gives you insight that you didn't have, is basically us deciding that I know that there's a problem, I know that there's a solution, but I'm going to willingly choose to do nothing about it. I'm going to encourage you all to not make that choice, to actually make the choice, to have the belief that things can be different. If you are someone right now that says, "Man, I don't think that things can be different," I promise you, I operate with I have 100% confidence that that will not be your continued thought process if you decide to take a chance, if you decide to believe again that this can be different. For those of you that believe like that, it's my job as a coach, as a partner, as someone that is on this journey with you to make sure that that dynamic changes. And so I believe that it's what's happened for me in my personal life. It's what's happened for me in my marriage. It's what's happened to me in my family. All my family is taking an assessment. Every single one of them. And there are things that I understand about my brothers and my sisters that I did not understand before this. And as I've shared with them their insights, there have been so many ahas. This is something that you can do with your family. If there's a challenging family dynamic and you want to renew that, you want to make sure that that doesn't stay the same. This is an area where you can work with them through, and not just work with them through by yourself, to have somebody that is like an intermediary, someone that's mediating that whole process with you. And so this is what I do. This is what I'm excited about doing, because at heart, I'm a people person. And at heart, I want nothing more than for the people that are in your life, for you to be connected with them. What does connection mean? I want to share this with you all, because this definition is exactly what it is. That is at the core of everything that we do, and it's really sitting on this. Do you know exactly? Think about this. When it comes to being connected, do you know exactly what it is that causes the distance between you all? Do you know exactly what it is? And are you equipped with the information that you need to make sure that those things do not keep you from being close? How can you make sure that the people that you interact with most, that those are the individual that you stay close to? There are people that have been friends and something happened and now they're no longer close as they used to be. Challenges, friction shouldn't be something that separates you. And that's what it means when you're equipped in order for you all to stay connected. And so the work that we do is bridging the connection gap, identifying the friction and bridging it, so the people that you interact with most, those are the individuals that you stay close to. And so if there are any questions about anything, my inbox is open. You all can reach out to me, whether it be on my website. If you are interested in knowing more about this, or if you have questions, let's book a call so we can actually talk about this. And most importantly, take the step to identifying these things within your life and one of our programs and one of our offers that we have. And so that's all that I have for you all tonight, unless you all have anything you all would like to share with me. I will say, yesterday I was live and I predicted that Shakur Stevenson was going to win. And he won. And so that's my light moment for the night. This Sunday night, I want you all to no longer operate or have to move with a sense of uneasiness, especially when it comes to people. That friction can and will go away. And it's my job to make sure that I play a role in relieving that for you. So I thank you all for the time. I got my comments and stuff on my screen. And so since I don't see anything up, there are no questions. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your Sunday night. I hope you all get rest. And more importantly, I hope that this week is a week of no stress. And I can help you relieve that stress. All right? I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be talking about something else. And so, have a good night.